afternoon, everybody, especially our host, Mr. Ntuli. And my protocol says you must first greet the host in case you're not given a seat to actually be allocated to you. Then I must come to my president, the vice, and the second, and all the champions, all our guests. I'm actually carrying a diary because when I was coming here, I was bragging that no one can match women in terms of multitasking. So while coming here from the airport, I was participating in a board meeting. When I got here, I asked to be given a corner and I was given a boardroom at the back. And while I was sitting there, I was brainstorming to say, okay, let me remember what the members I served with had said about this particular task. And one of my members is sitting right in front of me. So he's gonna call me into order so that if I am out of order. But what I'm actually noticing is that whoever has spoken is stealing from our task force because they all talk about collaboration. Now what will we do? But what does that say? It means we're gonna swallow all of you in terms of what we're gonna do. Because we will let you collaborate amongst yourselves as well. So we will be sitting here and ensuring that we do the right thing. I listened to the president quoting what the president of the country had said about collaboration. And I was smiling and I looked down because later on, he actually went to the point that was striking me as he was talking about the collaboration between private sector and government. And I was saying to myself, our own national president is missing it. Because this collaboration is not only between private sector and government, but within the private sector itself. Collaboration within the industry. Charity begins at home. We can't go and cry and say there needs to be a collaboration between private sector and government. Yet within the industry itself, there are gaps. And later, my president spoke exactly on that. And I said, I am glad because what I was looking at as a gap from the government side is already identified by the industry that this collaboration must actually start here from within the private sector. And going further to that, if then there's active collaboration with government, the enabling environment has to be created by government. And that enabling environment can only be created by government if we are effective in terms of collaboration. It therefore means that the task is still with us in the private sector to ensure that collaboration is driven. And it is driven in such a way that it impacts. When we had our inaugural meeting with this task force, we were saying, okay, let's define the objective of this scaling up. What are we going to be scaling up? What's there already that needs to be scaled up? Or are we starting from the basement to say we need to ensure that this collaboration is started, or are we saying it's already there, but we need to make sure that we do something better? And I'm not going to give you answers because it's still premature, and I don't want to be called by the member that I'm out of order because I'm not supposed to quote here now. However, what I'd like to emphasize is the fact that what we also saw as a key element of the objective of this task force is ensuring that we do a proper stakeholder mapping and analysis. Because who are you saying you're going to collaborate with if you don't understand who the role players are within government, which key stakeholders are there in terms of this collaboration, within the industry, who are we in the industry? Currently, we're talking about the task force in terms of value chain, but again, there's acknowledgement, we're conceding to the fact that even within the industry, there are gaps in terms of understanding a complete value chain. Now, if I stand here and say our key objective is to ensure that there is this collaboration, but we don't understand the full maritime industry ecosystem, where we will start. So this collaboration to start at home is key, so that we can understand fully who is within the maritime industry and what is it that is happening within the maritime industry and what is it that is supposed to be happening that is not happening. Going to the matter of innovation, Mr. President, a few months ago on my dissertation, maybe let me start there, I was focusing on researching on digital transformation governance. And as you were talking, when you were touching on innovation, I went back to an author that was trying to define innovation. And he stopped by saying there are actually more than 52 authors that define innovation differently. And I said, okay, should I go to each one of the 52? And I tried, and I found that what was in common was that people had the new idea as part of innovation. And in most cases, they are not focusing on ideas that are not new, but being pursued differently. And on my side, I believe that a key aspect of innovation is not necessarily only starting on new things. You may look at those that are existing, but you pursue them differently. Because we're coming from backgrounds where the environment was different from what it is now. Without internet connectivity these days, you can't survive, whether in business or in society or in school. But then, I'm telling you, at school, if you were doing arithmetic and were not able to count, you would be sent home to go to the hill and go cut short sticks and make them sharp. And in my language, we were calling them izinti, which is like a plural of sticks. And you would take them and put them in bundles of 10. And that's how we were starting arithmetic, and we were able to count. But these days, you can't tell pupils in class to go cut some sticks from the hills because they can't do arithmetic well. Because these days, there are many other tools. And part of that internet connectivity is what currently is enhancing even that collaboration that we have to drive. And collaboration not only within our country or continent, but globally. And as part of my research, which is on this digital transformation governance, I had interviewed people that are chairing boards of these various big companies. And when it comes to these multinational corporations, I found that there is research that has already been done. But this research is emphasizing the fact that when it comes to domicilium, if we think that when we talk, we're going to talk about our own country only, whereas there's so much globalization, we will never succeed. And therefore, in cutting short what I wanted to share, is the fact that it is important for us to remember that there are no borders these days when it comes to business. There is so much global trade such that even if you are sitting here, you will find that the domicilium is just here, but realistically most businesses abroad, or the domicilium is abroad, but most businesses here. Therefore, the task at hand is that we have to even understand collaboration that is already taking place elsewhere, beyond our own borders as a country, and we are looking up to the task. We have already brainstormed as the task force. We know exactly where to start, and when it comes to this stakeholder mapping and analysis, we need to identify the role players that may have in financial interest, those that may not have financial interest but may have rights, because any business does not operate in a vacuum. It operates where there are societies, where there are communities. There are organizations, there are professional bodies, and all those are part of that stakeholder mapping that we have to actually do, taking into account the external forces like the climate change, as well as what I've already alluded to in terms of the impact of internet connectivity, and any other digital transformation elements that we need to be taking into account, not forgetting what that brings to us in terms of cyber attacks. And therefore, as part of that collaboration, we also have to understand the sources in the boardroom in terms of them being ahead of us. And I'm remembering of an example where they actually hacked the GPS, and those disruptions actually caused chaos at the ports because ships that were at sea were tracked to be inland where there was no sea. And the question was, how will those ships land inland? And it was because GPS connectivity was hacked. And therefore, as part of that collaboration, we even need to understand what those criminals are studying out there so that as part of the collaboration, we understand how to mitigate those risks. With those few words, we have volunteered in this task force to ensure that whatever has to be done is done. We are not looking at challenges because part of opening the Maritime Assembly spoke about challenges. We are saying, let's drive innovation. If there are no challenges, let us make it our duty that the collaboration is able to identify what is not happening but can happen, and so that sustainability within this industry is driven by us coming with new ideas through that collaboration and not only focus on what the challenge is, but be innovative and look at sustainability. Thank you.